from RightStar, and today I'm going to walk you through how to manage tickets in Helix ITSM. We're going to start off in Smart IT on the ticket console. So I'm in Smart IT, and I'm looking at the ticket console. Your console may look a little different depending on your version. There are changes made when upgrades are made. So you may have a little bit older version, you may have a little bit newer, but it should all have the same kind of features in it. What you see on the console depend upon your applied filter. Right now I'm looking at all open incidents, which is showing me all incidents, ticket type incident. That's pretty straightforward. If I wanted to go ahead and look at a different filter, I can look at this drop down. You can see there are filters I've created and filters that are system presets. I can go down to here and look at maybe my group assigned tickets and get a look at those. Now notice here, I'm looking at change requests as well as incidents and work orders. So you can look at multiple ticket types within a particular view. Let's say I mostly like this view, but I don't really, maybe I don't want work orders on it. I'm going to go ahead and save as. I grouped assigned tickets, no work orders, and save. And then I'm going to come over here and modify it by coming down to ticket type and saying, that I just want, actually, let me up here. Yeah, let me just say I want incidents, I want changes, I don't want work orders. So I've modified that filter, and now I have only changes and incidents. And you can see here, they've been created within the past 30 days. And of course, they're assigned to me. So very easy to go ahead and modify filters. I always recommend doing a save as first before modifying them and getting to exactly the set of tickets you want to look at. I should mention here that when you log out, the next time you log in, you'll be back on the last filter you had set. So I'm going to go back down to my all open incidents again. And while we're here, I also want to mention about work orders. I've mentioned those a couple times. Work orders are a simplified ticket in the system. They're not quite as robust as the incident tickets are. And generally, most companies will use incident management for break-fix tickets, work orders for request, for not break-fix tickets. But it's really up to your company, and you should find out what the policy is there. Some companies will say service requests are all work orders, while break-fix tickets are all incidents. While others will say, no, everything's going to come in as an incident, and there's a field on the form that indicates if it's a service request or not. So again, do check with your company to find out how you all are using incidents versus work orders. Okay, so we saw how to go ahead and create a filter there and save it. Other things I can do while looking at this console. See these three dots? I can sort. Right now I'm descending in terms of ticket number. I could go ahead and do a multi-sort. So if I wanted to also maybe, I don't know, do it by ticket number and we'll say by status, I could go ahead and do a multi-sort. It's not that useful, so I'm going to go ahead and remove this one from the sort, but you can see how easy it is to sort. I can also search here in this box. So maybe I want to find everything involving cloud. I can go ahead and search for that. And now I've got things that have an issue with the cloud service. I can also, while I'm looking at a view, use this particular thing, show ticket statistics, and it's going to give me a quick view. Maybe I've got 50 critical ones, et cetera, et cetera. I want to look at those 9 major incidents. I can go ahead and just click on that, and I'll get to those. I want to remove that filter, major incident, yes. I just click and remove it. And finally, over here, I have visible columns where I can change what columns I'm seeing. Maybe I no longer want to see a signing name. I can remove that, or I can put it back in. So a very flexible console that each of you can really set up to the way you prefer to work. And again, you can save your filters, and so you always have those available. By the way, I can right-click on one of these and open the link in the new tab. So if I do want to work on multiple tickets at a time, I can easily do that. And of course, I can select all the tickets that are filtered and star them, reassign them, update the status, whatever I need to do. So again, your console may not look exactly like this, but do get familiar with it because it's a very usable console. So let's go ahead and pick one of these. I'm going to go ahead and look at the Scott Flanders VPN issue and walk through how to work on an existing issue. So this is one that may have come in through email. It may have come in through, I don't know, through the self-service portal, or I may have taken it over the phone. Doesn't matter. The key thing is it ends up in the right queue in the right place, and I can take a look at it. You can see right here, we do have service level targets in the solution. So I can see here my next SLA is coming up, and of course, notifications go out as they go through. I've got notes over here of things going on, and I can go and add a note. Add a note. If I do not check the public box, this note is only visible to backend people who are looking at this ticket. If I had added a public note, I have more questions. This would be visible on the self-service portal, so my end user would be able to see it. I can, of course, also email from a ticket by coming over the mail icon. And I can go ahead and say, Scott, I have a question, and emails will go ahead and be attached to the activity log, just like we would expect. So I've got my emails over there. I've got things happening here. Obviously, one of the things I might want to do is start working on this. I want to go ahead and assign it to me. So I'm going to go ahead and assign it to myself. And I'm in as Beth Byers, so it got assigned to me. I want to edit this ticket. I'm going to go ahead and come up here to this edit link. And I can go ahead and start seeing some of the fields. Impact and urgency, of course, are going to drive the priority. But other important fields are down here, where you can start looking at your categorizations. So we have operational categories and product categories. Operational is really what happened. So I can type in, this was a change to a server maybe, and that caused a provisioning thing. I don't know, whatever it is. So I can go ahead and select them off the menus, or I can go ahead and go to my search. And if I just want to type in server, I'll get a list of things that have server in them. And maybe I could say this was a change to the updating the CMDB. So categorizations are important for assignments, reporting, and SLAs, and that's how easy it is to put in the opcats. Prodcats, or product categorizations, are more related to the service or the CMDB. If I'd actually put in a service over here, let me go ahead and pick, he's calling in about VPN. I'm going to pick VPN North America. You can see it automatically filled in the product categories. If you don't have a service, you can fill these in the same way we did the opcats by either hitting browse or by typing in that field and getting a list of possible categorizations. For now, I'm going to go ahead and cancel out of that. We'll go ahead and save this ticket. So it's important to get familiar with the feel of the form as you're working through it and what fields your organization may have that may be custom or not. By the way, this related DWP request here tells me this came in through self-service. So Scott put this in through the self-service portal, and we did have a related DWP request. Finally, two more things I want to mention here is around statuses. We have a list of statuses here. In general, in most companies, as you move through these, other fields will pop open, and then you eventually get it to resolved. Our recommendation is to leave it at resolved and let the company's rules take effect, because you should have a rule that says after 10 days, after 15 days, it will automatically go to closed. The reason we do to resolved is that your users can still reopen it if it's in resolved status. If I move it to closed, it cannot be reopened. I would have to create another ticket linked to this. Just want to mention that around statuses. And the other thing I want to mention around here is major incident. Again, you may or may not be using this in your organization, but if you are, I can say this is a major incident candidate. Then my major incident people decide it is a major incident, or I have the capability, because I'm Beth, to go ahead and move it to there. And we'll see once I move it to a major incident, it's going to go ahead and ask me to fill in assignees. Of course, it could be used during the assignment engine, but we're going to go ahead and do it manually, assign to a couple of major incident managers. Then I can see down here, I've got additional fields visible that could be filled out as this ticket is going through the major incident process. If I decide to go ahead and add more people to the major incident process, I can go ahead and do that as well. Let me go ahead and say Scott's going to be added as a person on this, and he's a subject matter expert. So you have some roles, some things you can do, and you can add other people to the team. And if you do decide to link this with your teams, you can launch a chat ops that will open up a Teams room, and everybody can be collaborating in the Teams room, and the results, of course, will be brought back into the ticket when it's done. In the meantime, you can see we're keeping track of everything over on the right on the activity side. So those are some tips and tricks as working on a ticket, things you want to think about. Please do get familiar with the ticket policies in your own organization as you're working them. Now, that was great. I was coming into the console, as I said, and I worked an existing ticket. But of course, the question is, what if it didn't come in through email, didn't come in through self-service, but somebody calls? And that's when we talk about Smart Recorder. BMC did a great job of smart recording and making it easy for users to, or support analysts to take tickets coming in over the phone. All I had to do was add Scott, and I got his name, got a lot of information about Scott. I've got his assigned assets, I've got his open tickets, etc., and even his resolved tickets. If he's calling about something he already put in, I've got a lot of information there without having to pop up windows. So he's having a VPN problem. I can start typing that in. What we're going to see on the right are resources. Turns out there is some kind of outage against VPN. I can tag it, tie this ticket to that outage, so now my outage managers know more people are getting affected. I can actually do a service request from Digital Workplace Catalog if I think that's appropriate. I can pick a template here, and I can also come down into knowledge. Maybe I'm looking over here, and he does have an iPad, and maybe that's what he's having problems with. So there's a knowledge article here, a couple of them, how to access VPN from iPhone or iPad. I can go ahead and tag those knowledge articles to this ticket as well. I can look at some more details if I want to, and go ahead and see what kind of things are going on. For now, I'm just going to pin them to this ticket. And then finally down here, I have possible duplicate tickets. So I could select some of these and make them duplicates of my parent ticket. And then when the parent ticket resolves, all the associated children tickets will resolve as well. Feeling pretty good about my choices so far. So I'm going to go ahead and create a ticket. And I have the choice of creating an incident record or a work order, which is that more simplified form. So maybe if Scott had called in about needing his security setup, I might be creating a work order instead of an incident. Again, check with your policies. Call log you may or may not have available. That's pretty useful if you get a lot of people just calling in with something quick. You don't want a whole ticket for that, but you do want to track those. You may or may not have that option exposed. We do have a blog available if you do want to expose it. I am going to go ahead and create an incident record. I get another chance to review my data before I actually save the ticket, but I'll go ahead and save it. Again, that's how I take a ticket using Smart Recorder, somebody calling in over the phone, and I get a lot of resources that way. And just like before, I can go ahead and email to Scott, just like we did in the last ticket. But here I want to show I can go ahead and add a knowledge article and pin it to this email. So I'll go ahead and add that one, save it, please review. And now Scott will be able to look at that knowledge article as part of his ticket. So that's how I took a ticket with Smart Recorder and then associated some knowledge articles with it and emailed them to my end user. For those of you that like more of a form-based ticket, you can come over to Create New, come down to Incident, and get a set of fields to fill out rather than having the Smart Recorder information popping up down below as you take it. Either way is fine, whatever you prefer to do. And of course, I can do work orders the same way from the Create New if I prefer a form-based work order. I'll go ahead and cancel that for now and come back to my console. Hopefully that made sense, and hopefully that gives you some ideas as you're working on your tickets, how you can manage them most effectively. Thank you very much.